What's up, everyone? Matt here, and welcome to another episode of Down Once More. This week, we are going to be talking Hamilton. Have we talked about Hamilton on the pod before? Well, yes, we have. It was our second ever movie that we reviewed on here back over 3 years ago, 150 episodes ago. Rayleigh and I reviewed the Disney Plus Pro Shot of Hamilton. Since then, it's come up in a number of different episodes and a number of different ways and topics. I've briefly touched on seeing it live before because I have seen it 3 times before. But this production, I have never done a full tour review on here since I just started doing that about a year or so ago, and it's been a while since I've seen Hamilton. So I figured Hamilton deserved its shot. Like I said, this is my 4th time seeing it, and I have had a fantastic experience every time. Each one, the performances that the cast has given, the choices they have made, has been slightly different, but each time I have absolutely loved it and come away enjoying Hamilton more than I did going into it. Hamilton is one, for me, that the live experience of seeing it in theater absolutely trumps and buries just listening to the cast recording. The cast recording is absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but even watching the pro shot, it's nothing like experiencing the energy, the emotion of the cast live on stage. Now, that goes for almost every musical theater production or any live performance in general. Seeing it live is going to add a whole nother element. I get that. Hamilton, there's just something about it that to me, it just cranks it up an extra notch on top of that. On here, Lin-Manuel Miranda, absolutely genius, brilliant, talented writer. We've been critical of a few things of his on here before, but Hamilton is a near perfect musical work, I feel like. When I walk away from it, I come away with a new appreciation every time. This time, I experienced it from the second row, closest I've ever been for a Broadway tour performance. And I really appreciated getting to see that extra level of emotion from the cast and the performers. Borderline would have had some awkward eye contact with King George a time or two during his performance. But this King George, Justin Matthew Sargent, absolutely fantastic. Wonderful King George. Maybe the best King George that I have seen on tour. Although Neil Haskell was really good the last time I saw it as well. But I digress. Let's get into my review of this production. So I saw 2025 Angelica Tour production last week. The last time I saw this was the 2020, it was either late 2022, early 2023, the Philip Tour. Now, one thing I noticed seeing the cast here, I recognized some faces. And so I went back and pulled up my old playbill. Thankfully, I've started doing that, kind of hoarding and keeping the old playbills so I can refer back to them. Eventually, I want to do something display. I have some sitting up on the shelves if you're watching on YouTube. But Tyler Fauntleroy, who played Alexander Hamilton in the Angelica Tour in this production, played John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton in the 2023 Philip Tour that I saw. So really cool to see him kind of grow and move his way up in this production. And I think he may be the best Hamilton that I have seen on stage. I'm not even kidding. Everyone they've seen has been fantastic. But the emotion he brought into it, his voice, his movement, his acting, the choices he made, absolutely stellar. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Another familiar cast member was Jared Howelton. Now, he's reprising his same role as Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in this production, and for good reason. So animated, so perfect in this role, and I feel like he cranked up the animation even more for this tour as he's just grown in that role more and really made it his own. It was fantastic. I loved it. One other notable cast member call out from the 2023 tour that I saw was Marcus Choi, played George Washington, and now is in the Tony nominated Maybe Happy Ending on Broadway. So kind of cool to see those people who have been on these national tours, done their performances there, and seeing them get spotlight in Tony nominated shows now. So that's another cool thing about keeping the playbills, and I'd encourage you to do it when you go to shows, getting to refer back and see the progression of people that you may have seen on tour and then move their way to Broadway, or just seeing them in other tours. I was able to do that with in Back to the Future, the musical, when I saw that. The understudy, I want to say, was Lucas Hallower. That was on when I saw it as Marty McFly, had been in the Mean Girls tour that I saw. So kind of cool to see that, see the different tours people have been on and say, hey, I saw them last year, seeing them move into more primary roles or bigger roles, or like I said, seeing them on Broadway. A few call-outs. The production that I saw had a number of understudies and primary roles on it. So Eliza Hamilton was played by Alexandria Reynolds. George Washington was played by Hosea Mundi. And Hercules Mulligan, James Madison, was played by Michael Natt. And Peggy Schuyler, Mariah Reynolds, was played by Amanda Simone Lee. So, number of understudies, but the wonderful thing about these touring productions, and even on Broadway, is these understudies are talented as hell, and you're not going to notice the difference. Brad and I, we didn't do a review, as back before we were reviewing tours. When we saw the Book of Mormon, we saw understudies in both of the primary roles, both of the lead roles, and you wouldn't be able to tell. This cast is absolutely brilliant, talented, fantastic. And then Hosea Mundi made George Washington his own in a way that I hadn't seen before. Marcus Choi was a very distinct George Washington as well, and still a very powerful voice and a unique take on it. Sam Mundi did some runs in One More Time that were just beautiful and fantastic, and I loved it. Completely different from the original performance on the recording, but also just wonderful. And I already called out Justin Matthew Sargent as King George III. He was extremely animated, added some new things. They had the ensemble member who comes in and gives him the message about John Adams. Was significantly taller than him, the lady that was playing that ensemble cast member. And so he made a point, like, making her squat down and then get on his toes too. Just unique little things like that. Made the roles own, hammed it up a bit. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. But let's go through the rest of this exceptional cast. I already called out Tyler Fauntleroy, said maybe my favorite Alexander Hamilton yet. Aaron Burr was played by Jimmy J.J. Jeter, who was maybe the most animated, and in a good way, because animated in the wrong role can be distracting. But Jimmy J.J. Jeter, the acting chops that he put on display and facial expressions and different things he added to the role, the reactions to different things Hamilton was saying, was fantastic. And some of the best I've seen. Marja Harmon played Angelica Schuyler, and I already called out Jared Houghton, fantastic as Marquis de Lafayette, and Thomas Jefferson. And then Nathan Haidel played John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton. And I'm giving lots of best I've seen, but Nathan Haidel captured the youthfulness and just passion of both John Lawrence and especially Philip Hamilton, just acting like a 9-year-old and just so animated and childlike, and then the kind of bravado and boisterousness and just I can't think of the word, but just grit of Philip Hamilton before the duel and everything going on there, just gave his all in this performance and was absolutely fantastic. So excited. I think we'll be seeing most of this primary cast in bigger and better things down the road. Not that there's much that tops Hamilton. It is a juggernaut. It still is. They just celebrated their 10th year anniversary on Broadway. Lin-Manuel Miranda brought back the Ham for Ham at the stage door, doing really cool things there with the cast of other Broadway cast members from different shows. And it's been really neat to see just how much this is taken off and become part of the zeitgeist, if you will. And I think it is a near perfect stage musical. The music captures you. Every time I see it, I come away with a different favorite song. I feel like I said it. I think I've said it on here before. After the first time I saw it, just listening to the cast album, the first act is what kind of blows you away. It's got Satisfied. It's got The World Turned Upside Down. It's got Wait for It, which is one of my favorite Broadway musical theater songs ever. But seeing it live, the second act, I feel like steals the show from a performance standpoint and sucks you in. But let's go the rest of the cast. I want to call out the ensemble and everyone as well. Philip Schuyler, James Reynolds, and the Doctor was played by Austin Henderson. Samuel Seabury by Alex Dreschke. Charles Lee by Aaron J. Albano. George Eaker by Nathaniel Hurst, and then other ensemble members, Miriam Ali, Philip DeSays, Lexi Garcia, Sabrina Harrison, Ashley Merritt, and Haley Dorling. I think I got all of them, but just a fantastic cast all the way around. There were other cast members that played the roles. The understudies were in that I didn't get to see. So Lily Soto was originally Peggy Schuyler, Maria Reynolds, Kai Tomani Shikosi was Hercules Mulligan, James Madison, A.D. Weaver was George Washington, and Lauren Maria Suse was Eliza Hamilton. So unfortunately, didn't get to see those cast members, but like I said, understudies absolutely crushed their roles. You would not know they were understudies. Especially Alexandria Reynolds as Eliza Hamilton was absolutely fantastic and one of the best Elizas I've seen. She put on an absolutely fantastic performance. Her rendition of both Helpless and Burn were just mesmerizing. And then at the end, And the World Was Wide Enough, or Who Tells Your Story? I'm blanking on what the last song is called now. It all kind of blends together. You got those three songs back to back to back. Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story? That's right. But The World Was Wide Enough, I think every time I see it, I come away with, that's not one just listening to the cast album that I gravitate towards as much, but live with the blocking and the movement of the bullet and just the reflection, and then after Hamilton is shot, Burr's kind of reaction and his lines, just so powerful and hits me the hardest of almost anything seeing it live. Usually in It's Quiet Uptown, the part where Angelica is singing, she takes his hand and Eliza takes Hamilton's hand after they've been just so distant and apart through that song, and she's been hurt and she's forgiving him. That part when she takes his hand and then It's Quiet Uptown and Hamilton just kind of loses it and breaks, gets me every time. This was the first time I didn't tear up though. More emotionally prepared or numb, one of those. But I really enjoy this musical. I will keep seeing it when it comes back. I will say, being in the second row was fantastic to be able to see the performances and the face of the performers. But I'm glad I had seen it from a little further back. Still in the front, still in the orchestra area. But you do lose some of the kind of scope and size of the performance and what the ensemble is doing in the background, and you do just kind of get the focus on those forward performers, and so you can't really appreciate all the inner workings. And this is a very talented ensemble The choreography is beautiful. How they use that, the turntable stage is fantastic. And so you didn't get to appreciate some of that as much. But I really enjoyed this performance. I'm not sure how much longer this tour is going on. I think they're getting ready to wrap up tours before too long, before the next season kicks off in the fall. But I really enjoyed it. Like I said, some of the best performances of these roles that I have seen, especially Tyler Fauntleroy, and Jared Hamilton is one of the best out there, in my opinion, in this role. So get out there, see the Angelica Tour cast while you can, see any version of Hamilton if you can. Let me know, what are the songs from Hamilton that grab you. I want you to drop those in the comments. Let us know. But that's going to do it for the Hamilton review. Next, I've just got some random things. I will also call out, I didn't call it out yet, if you are watching on YouTube, a little bit different look today. I am recording before work, and it is Tie Tuesday, of course. So, tied up today. That sounded weird. Didn't like that. But they released the first poster for Wicked for Good. That official look at that is out now. A little different looks for Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba and Ariana Grande's Glinda. And the first teaser trailer is going to be released with special one night only back in theater screenings of Wicked on. It would have been cool if I would have looked up the date before recording this. So we should be seeing that teaser online before too long. It drops in November, so we're about 6 months out. It's about right for when we'd see the first teaser trailer for it. It was announced a while back, but we haven't talked about it on here. Carly Rae Jepsen and Lena Dunham are working on developing 10 Things I Hate About You musical. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger, and I want to say Julia Stiles' performances on it. Brilliant, very good, like teen rom-com, and I think it could make a fantastic musical. Heathers, I enjoy the musical version of that better than the movie, and there's some others that I think have done a really good job turning non-musical source material into a musical. And so I think 10 Things I Hate About You has promise. I feel like the kind of rom-coms have a good lane. Again, I have not watched Legally Blonde yet, so I can't speak to that. But I enjoy Mean Girls the musical. I know it has its haters. I know it's not perfect, but it is very fun to me, and I really like it. I've said on here before, I think The Breakfast Club would make a really good musical. You can make it a jukebox musical. I think make it an original musical and pull in Don't You Forget About Me and things like that. And some of those iconic ones from the soundtrack. But we'll see. That's just my hot take. Like, you do it kind of like Back to the Future did. They kept Power of Love in there and Johnny Be Good, but then still have their own original music. So there's good ways to do it. There's a template out there before. Coming up on next week's pod, Brad, as far as the stars, long as the stars keep aligning, Brad will be joining me. We will be reviewing The Next Normal Pro Shot while it's still available on PBS, the Great Performances series. I've heard nothing but good things about it so far, besides some of the weird censoring and lyric changes that they do in order to air on network television. So we'll be talking about that. On Sunday, I will be reviewing the final episode of The Last of Us Season 2. If you've been watching the show and been following along, we've been releasing them as bonus episodes on YouTube and the pod feed on Sunday nights after the episode airs, kind of my instant reaction thoughts to that show. So check that out. I had a lot of things to say on last week's episode, maybe just from wanting it to be more like the game, but it's not. It's its own thing. I do feel like they've made some changes that have affected the impact of it, but hey, that's just one guy's opinion and a lot of people online. But so tune into the finale, and then I will be able to get to where I will finally get some rest on Sunday nights, because I'm not watching a show, recording a podcast, editing it, and putting it out in the same breath. It'd be nice to go to bed before like 11:30 midnight when I have work the next day. Maybe someday. And then after that will be the kind of what to watch episode is what we'll do. So next lineup, Last of Us finale on Sunday night. Next Wednesday, Next Normal Pro Shot. Watch it on the PBS app, anywhere there. The West End Revival Pro Shot. Next Normal, we'll be talking about that. Then the following week, we'll be doing the what's coming to streaming in theaters in June. So that's kind of the layout for the next few episodes, what to expect there. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know in the comments before what moments from Hamilton grab you. What are some of your favorite songs from it? Have you seen it before? Is another musical that's near and dear to your heart? What should I talk about next? Throw it in the comments. Let us know. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic week. And don't forget to go down once more. Later.